Well, hello. This is Maaike with Maaike's Wellness Coaching, and this is my first time doing a live. I usually do a pre-recording. So, welcome everybody to Wellness Wednesday Conversations for the Better Feeling Woman. If you don't know me, my name again is Maaike Saenz, and I'm with Maaike's Wellness Coaching. And I like to bring a different view, perspective about menopause. There's a lot of conversation around menopause these days. Thank goodness we're lifting up the veil from the taboo, the quietness, the feeling alone, and feeling so lonely. That is like a new era for us. So I'm happy to be part of this era revolution for the women to feel better and to empower women and to know that we have something so powerful in our hands to make little changes that make or small changes that do the big change, right? Is like in coaching, I learned one time that little hinges open big doors. So if anything, if you get one nugget of information, sometimes all we need is one little insight to change our direction and our perspective about things and to make us move forward. I have learned so much from so many of you here in YouTube, Mel Robbins, and so many amazing women and speakers that I have learned. And I start my days with YouTube. So I want to thank all of the people who have come before me and who are coming after me to be a part of this contribution to make this a better world. I think that every woman has, and every man as well, but I focus a lot of women. um, we all have a little gift. We all have something to give and to discover. Once we learn what that is for ourselves, then we shine, right? A lot of people have told me lately is like, Maaike, your skin is so nice. It's so bright. And the other day I was taking a picture with someone and I could see an aura. And really, it fascinates me. It's like, feeling kudos to me because it's all the things that I have done for me that I have now experienced, and I come to bring a little bit of perspective, a little bit of nuggets for you to learn to be better, because it was not always like this, right? Every person that we know, we hear their stories, has come to be successful thanks to all the inner work that they have done, one way or the other. Is doing and stumbling and going to do the inner work. But that is so, so important. So I am here today to talk about the 3 P's. And I want you to consider in menopause, if you are going through menopause or perimenopause, which actually is the hardest part, the hardest era of our life. And that is between 40s, late 30s, 40 to kind of 48. So kind of like that. It's 10 years. If you don't know, it's 10 years of a journey. So get on a ride, and get on a ride of a different way to approach it wherever you are, because once you approach it in a different way, you will see so many blessings, and you will learn so much of why, what to do, what not to do, how to tackle it. And I am here to bring more conversation around it. And I'm also opening up for conversation with other women. So if you would like to be here on live with me, I would absolutely love a conversation with you, whatever you inspire, because I think there's always magic between two people, two or more people. There's amazing conversations. So it's kind of ignites a fire, because we all know something. We have all gone through something. So when we unite those forces and there's one kind of alignment, there is a mission. I feel that there's a divine encounter, and then God, or whoever you believe in, the universe, the energy of the universe, puts everything together to give a better sign for everybody. So let's talk a little bit about patience, pause, and perspective. Menopause is not only about managing your symptoms, it's like putting a band aid, right? We need to know what are the root causes of this, of our struggles, our challenges, and that is in our body, right? We are going through menopause, which is a lot of different changes. It's not only the bodily physical things that we feel, our energy is lower naturally, and but it's what is happening in our psychic, in our mind, and we have a lot of brain fog, right? What brain fog led me to discover is a new way of living, changing my lifestyle so that I could feel better. And that took a journey. That took different things to try every single day and stay committed and persistent and persevere on. I wanted to feel better and better and better. And as I felt better, I was able to coach other people and experiment, and they were starting to feel the results. So that really ignited me, and it's like, oh my gosh, I need to do this more and more. And now I am extending it for group coaching, because I believe that women, we need to be in communities. And when we're in communities, we feel so much better because we no longer feel alone. We feel in tribe, right? Like before, like 100 years ago, there were tribes and women would share their stories, would share their insecurities, and then they would share the knowledge from the wise women all the way down. But what's happening nowadays, there's a lot of Alzheimer's and dementia. So we're losing all that wisdom. And who are we seeking for? If our mothers or our grandmothers are no longer there, or their brain is no longer functioning, who are we seeking wisdom from? So I want to bring that as I learn and grow and communicate with other women, bring more and more and more of this conversation to you. That is what my function or my goal for this channel is, to come together in conversations and go on to more podcasts and help each other. So perspective. So menopause perspective, when you see menopause as a transition, it's the 40s, right? It's a transition. And in this 40s, it's a self-discovery. So you're probably feeling lonely. You're probably feeling like crazy. Probably people that you're talking with or your relationship with others, like it's crickets, right? It's like nothing is working like it used to be working before. And it's very frustrating. And it's very frustrating also for the family members or those who are used to you, because you're making changes and they no longer know how to relate to you. Does this ring any bells? Maybe they do. But there's a lot of disruption in relationship in midlife. Why? And why do they call it the midlife crisis? Because of this disruption. But let's change the conversation and the narrative to that. Instead of being the midlife crisis, is that midlife awakening, the awakening of the woman. Once you change that perspective, it's like, oh, what is this happening for me this moment? What can I learn from this? Instead of being judging, you start being curious. When you start being curious, guess what? It's like opening the door to more, to answers. And when we open up for conversations, I don't know if you have felt, but sometimes you have an idea of something and you want something so bad, but then you let it go. And then it shows up magically, right? That is exactly what we can do. And when we are in tune with our body, we can do that more and more. Instead of feeling bad, bad, and worse, 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 I want you to kind of start thinking about, how can I feel better, 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 better? Because we need more awakened women. And I'm here to help you and guide you do exactly that. So, patience. Patience is very, very important, and it goes together with pause, menopause. For me, menopause is women, we have been in a society that is called quick, 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 right? Without making any pauses. Well, menopause is here to show us that we need to start making pauses in our day, our thinking, the way we do things, and restructure everything. That's why it's kind of chaotic, but in the chaos, there is beauty. So it's important to think about this season and life as a transition, a readjustment. We're changing gears. It's like we were running on a first gear in a car. Well, the car was going to go burn out. So now we're changing to second gear and to third gear. I used to drive a gear car because nowadays a lot of people don't even know it. Everything's on automatic, right? We're on automatic. We're in autopilot. So menopause is here to kind of reset the software and actually the hardware, our trained thinking, our thoughts, to make the software work better. It's kind of giving you an upgrade. And when you have that upgrade, then what happens is like, oh, things start shifting and you start flowing better. Your car starts moving smoother instead of going like that or going into bumps and bumps and bumps. Now it just runs smoother, like a Ferrari, right? Our body is our Ferrari. So how are we taking care of that Ferrari inside us? We want it to run smoother. So patience, I talk about patience and pausing. So when you start making pauses throughout the day to contemplate, to smell the flowers, right? To smell the roses, to go for a little walk, to appreciate nature. When you make those little pauses, magic starts happening because now you're more in tune and aligned with the energy. And there's a lot of little shifts, little habits that you can create to help you connect. But just think about this. Nature is free. We all get to eat 2 or 3 times a day. We have options. We get to have choices, and it's what we choose to eat, how we choose to create our habits in the morning, the things that we choose to do, where we invest time, who we are investing time with. That it's all important so that we can feel better. So yesterday I was listening to my branding coach say something about a rose, and I want you to imagine a rose is a rose bulb, right? So the more we see it, not because we see it every single day, it's going to bloom, right? And it requires patience, and it's not going to bloom until it's ready to bloom. So the same thing happens in menopause. We need to start adjusting. We need to be patient. We need to be committed to ourselves to trying a new way of approaching menopause. And that way, every day is going to it's doing the inner work, and all of a sudden that flower is going to bloom. And when it blooms, it's there for us to smell, to appreciate. And that rose also has spikes, right? So that can become painful if we touch them. So just like a woman in menopause, like, is in pain, but there's also beauty throughout the pain. So I'm just kind of making analogies so it's easier. And now that we're talking about roses, I want to give you one small exercise that you can do. I know that there's a lot of negativity, a lot of toxicity in our environment. So I want you to think, and this is an exercise that I do with my clients as well. Now that we're talking about a rose is beauty, right? So whenever you're feeling something negative, or people around you are negative, and you're just feeling like, ugh, and then the stress comes, the cortisol goes, and our hormones are like crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, we want to reduce the cortisol. We want to reduce the hormone moodiness and the roller coaster. Imagine the rose petal in front of you. Take a deep breath. We forget to breathe as well. So remember to breathe and exhale. And then imagine like there's a rose in a protection. So somebody's speaking to you and it's negative, or you're not liking that. Don't allow it to address you. Don't allow it to come to you directly. They are dealing with their issues and you're dealing with yours. So once you start creating those boundaries, it feels so much better, because we are, as women, we absorb everything and we put all on our shoulders. That's why we have a lot of shoulder pain. And then we think that we have to resolve it all. So just allow that rose to be in the middle, and everything negative be absorbed by the rose. And then it's your protection. You see it, you let it crumble, and then you put another rose in front of you. And that is your boundary. That is your little protection. Once you start doing this, just having that visual is going to help you so much to feel better. And what I do in my coaching is just simple exercises, kind of like this, depending on what you're dealing with, so that you can feel every day a little bit better. So again, we talked about perspective, we talked about patience, and we talked about pausing, right? Pausing. Menopause is me, no pause. Now allow yourself to pause. So I would love to hear what you're coming out, like what you're taking away from this conversation, one insight that is going to help you feel better, that you're taking away today. And if this is something that you like, please share with others. That way it also allows others to come to my channel even more. And I hope this was helpful for you. And again, I will be here every Wednesday launching a video for you with another perspective, another conversation for the better feeling woman. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for sharing as well. Have a good one.